Good evening. Welcome to another Saturday episode on Cat Space with Buckets and Leon. Hi, how are you?
Tired? How about yourselves?
Not too bad. Alrighty, so the topic we have picked, would you like to do the honors for a change?
Oh my God, I've got an honor. It's cat space, but they're giving a bucket honor. This is brilliant.
Well,
Okay, the world is going insane. The political correctness of children's stories.
so the first question is, have Disney and other children's novels gone too far in censoring classic stories and novels because of political correctness, i.e., in point bracket, Dr. Seuss and Disney banning Aladdin, Aristocats, sorry, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan, the Swiss Family Robinson, and others have all been removed due to racism.
Absolutely, they've gone too far. I think political correctness has gone too far. I always say this because, in general, because remember how this political correctness thing, this change culture came about during mid last year, where they wanted to get rid of everything that might have been deemed racist. Now, one of the first things they did was they got the change culture. They got HBO Max to get rid of Gone with the Wind. Right, that's what happened. Right, this is not just not a kids thing. This is actually an actual movie. This is why I hate change culture or whatever they are. And when they did that, when they all succeeded, they all took another look at it and they realized, because they had just erased the history of the first African American to win an Oscar.
Oh my God, and they did what? They didn't realize it.
They didn't realize it. So HBO Max put it back and put like the warning on the front. See, this is what happens when change culture don't think. They just do it. They just do it just without thinking.
Oh my God, that would have been so embarrassing to basically go, oh yeah, let's ban this because it's racist. But yeah,
every time I see change culture going after things, I always bring up the fact that remember, change culture tried to erase Gone with the Wind.
That's just sad. That means they're basically just destroying themselves.
They're destroying. They're putting their foot in their mouths, and also now when you mention the political correctness and blah 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 and all that sort of stuff, they'd actually just gotten rid of the original voice of Dr. Hibbert from The Simpsons, which I believe was what Hank Azaria, I believe, or one of his names, one of those names.
Not Hank Azaria. It's oh wait, no, it is Hank Azaria.
Okay, so they got rid of him. They got rid of him as the voice because he's a white guy playing the voice of a black guy, right?
Yeah.
And they brought in Kevin Michael Richardson. Now, if change culture are going to be consistent with this, then shouldn't they get rid of Kevin Michael Richardson's role on the Flintstones? You know which role he plays?
Barney.
Barney Rubble.
Well, that's insulting.
Yeah, we can't say that because if I say that, I'm racist. But however, if Harry Shearer can't play the role, if Harry Shearer is playing the role of Dr. Hibbert, that's racist.
If they're going to do that, why don't they just basically change the voice of, the guy that played Darth Vader? Because that actually took two actors. That took a really big white guy, and it took a real who was the black gentleman that played the voice for him? It was James Earl Jones, that's the great James Jones, that basically played Darth Vader's voice. So they could just argue and go, no. Let's just basically get a white voice because it's a white guy that's playing with it. But I don't actually.
Yeah, exactly. But we can't do it the other way around, because if we do it the other way around, then we're the racist ones.
Exactly.
I can't get my head around this change culture crap. And everyone wanted to change into something, right? If I want to go to the shops and get an ice cream, I want to go and get an Eskimo pie, which in that case is just an ice block. It's just like a chocolate-coated ice cream. That's all it is. It's not meant to be racist to Eskimos or whatever the crap they decided to choose. They decided it was racist. And you know what? I want to go to the shops and go to the lolly shop and get some Redskins. I don't know. I'm getting that because I'm hungry and I want some food. I'm not going to talk about because I'm not wanting to eat an Indian.
Exactly.
Look,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to basically destroy an Indian tribe every time I have a redskin.
look,
Yeah, I'm not.
the
Yeah,
matter point is this is about children's books, okay? My
it's about political correctness as well.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You say. So what I would like to say about this is that it's not just in politically correct. It's offensive and it's wrong in so many others because now we're getting all these millennials that agree to all of this, and we're getting
Yeah.
parents of children who now will not allow their children to read Dr. Seuss books like Green Eggs and Ham, which is one of my favorites, might I say. They won't let them even watch the Dr. Seuss movie.
Hey, wasn't that funny when we're talking about Dr. Seuss and all these people wanted to get rid of the Dr. Seuss books, and all of a sudden we find a picture of Michelle Obama reading to a group of kids Dr. Seuss.
Because it's a classic book. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
it.
Yeah, go tell those millennials that Michelle Obama, who supports change culture, go tell Michelle Obama that what she did by reading what's that book again? Oh yeah, Dr. Seuss to a bunch of kids. Yeah, go tell them that. I wonder how they're going after their own now.
They've really got to basically think of their marketing strategy before they start, changing too many things.
Exactly.
I honestly think that they need a PR person. They need. I think they probably got.
They don't. Like political correctness, right? It should be a choice whether or not we choose to abide by it or not, right? If people want to say, right, they want to believe in political correctness, fine. That's all fine and good. They can live with that. But we should have the option, right? If people don't want to read Dr. Seuss, don't read Dr. Seuss. Let it back on the shelf. Let the people read it and then be the judge for themselves. We shouldn't be forced to make a decision whether or not we keep a book or whether we don't keep a book. You can't even get Dr. Seuss on eBay now because the specific books in question, they're being blocked. You can't even buy them.
I think it's a bit ridiculous because the thing is, if you don't like you said, if you don't like a book, okay,
don't read it.
Don't read it. Don't buy it. Take the money away from the author.
Exactly.
But don't basically tell others what they should or shouldn't be reading. It's their
exactly.
It's their choice what they want to read.
These crazy millennials, man. I don't get them. I don't get them. And I'm 40 years old, so that classifies me as a millennial, or whatever they want to call it.
In all sense of the word, I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. Children are entitled to have their imaginations run wild with them, and taking children's imaginations away from them is not allowing them to have a normal childhood. It's not allowing them to imagine or, believe in something they want to believe, much like Dr. Seuss or Peter Pan or Aladdin or just to name a few, like Cinderella, for example, and things like that.
I'd just like to point something out that Aladdin originally, that was a Chinese story. Okay, it wasn't actually an Arabic story as it's displayed in all the Disney movies. So by taking that off the shelves, you're actually being racist twice. You're being racist to Arabs and also being racist towards the Chinese. You invented this.
You know what else is racist? Monopoly. Apparently, Monopoly is racist. This was in the Atlantic. There was an article in the Atlantic. The prices on your Monopoly board hold a dark secret. Take a look at the Monopoly board. The most expensive properties, Park Place and Boardwalk, are marked in dark blue. Maybe you've drawn a card inviting you to take a walk on the boardwalk, but that invitation wasn't open to everyone when the game first took its current form, even though black citizens comprised roughly of a quarter of Atlantic City's overall population at the time. The famed boardwalk and adjacent beaches was segregated. Somebody is probably doing the mother of all overreaches right there. It is a board game. I'm not playing Monopoly because I'm racist. I'm playing Monopoly because I'm going to play Monopoly with my friends. These people have too much free time on their hands.
Sure.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they'll be complaining that a black and white TV is racist.
Because it only shows black and white people. It doesn't show any green people.
Yeah, the aliens in Star Trek. How are we supposed to enjoy Star Trek now?
Exactly. Good move. Here's your second question. By banning
Second
these
question. I
movies-
feel like we've done 10 questions already and we've only done one.
I know.
We haven't
The
started
second one is by banning these movies and stories, does woke what is it? Does woke groups have too much influential power over what is seen on television?
Yes, they do. They obviously do, because like if one person complains, that's enough to spook the networks.
Mm.
They nearly, or they actually have gotten to the Muppet Show on Disney.
Yeah,
On Disney Plus, the Muppet Show, which is a great little kids show from the 70s.
Like the thing is, I had so many good memories with that show, and yes, there was some crude behavior in it, but it wasn't over. the
Oh
top.
yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't over the top than what we could see now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't imagine if South Park was created back in the 70s. You wouldn't be able to see that on TV at all these
Right.
days.
You wouldn't even get close to it. It would have been banned within the first episode.
But the question is,
Absolutely.
does woke groups have too much influential power over what is viewed on TV? Like what is seen? Do they
Yeah,
have they hold that much?
exactly. Yeah, they do.
What
They do. They
annoys-
have too much power. Absolutely, they have too much power. It drives me crazy that a group of people could say, like a group of people are probably 80-year-old virgins or whatever like that, complaining, saying, "Oh, we saw this. We don't want to see this. We don't think that any of our friends or whatever should be seeing this." It should be up to the people. You know what? If you really want to change something, right? Like if you think that if these change culture think that they're so strong and they've got such a point, why doesn't these organizations, these TV organizations or whatever, poll the people and poll them once? Let's see how far that change culture gets. If that had happened, change culture wouldn't even get a look in. We'd be telling change culture to go jump.
Maybe they should change themselves. This is the thing. Maybe they could change the channel. How about that?
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
society-
Change culture starts with changing the channel, not
Exactly.
changing everybody's opinion on the show.
Like, I don't see why basically a small group of people should literally decide what the country should watch. If you don't like a particular show,
Change the channel.
don't watch it.
Exactly.
It's simple. Press one button and you will have all the control you need with your remote control.
That's why we say change the channel, because as I said, and I'll say it again because I'm passionate about it, you're not
Oh, you're not the only one, man. I'm over passionate about this, man. I get fired up every time I hear change culture.
now to not allow children, innocent children, to have an imagination and run away with them is wrong.
Yeah.
These children should not be subjected to, oh, you can't read Dr. Seuss books, you can't watch Dr. Seuss movies. you
Didn't they
can't read
just remove the gender of Mr. Potato Head?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that too.
yeah. The thing is, the thing is, it's true that Mr. Potato Head could literally be any gender that you want. It could be a he
Same
or
with
she.
Mrs. Potato Head, but we've got a Mrs. Potato Head. That's the problem.
But
We can't have a Mr. Potato Head.
But the thing is,
However, we can have a Mrs. Potato Head.
the thing is that annoys me about that is the fact that see, the particular kids that are particularly into that toy, right?
Yeah.
They're only like 4 years old, right? So
Yeah.
they're not like 13 years old. Like 13 years old, there's not many 13-year-old kids that are going to buy a Mr. Potato Head. They're going to buy things of their age, right? And
Yep.
it's the same as like with 18-year-olds either. They're not going to go out and buy a Mr. Potato Head. It's very unlikely. They might buy it for their collection.
Yeah.
If they're into that stuff, but for the most part, the age group will be 4+, right?
Yep.
So a kid that's 4+ isn't really going to think about gender neutral stuff at all.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
exactly. They're not.
completely over their heads.
Mate, we don't see a Mr. Potato Head with a Mr. Potato bulge, do we?
No. You don't see Mr. Potato Head with the Mr. Potato Head credit card either.
Okay, so Bill,
Mr.
All right.
Potato divorce where it gets half of Mr. Potato stuff.
all right. So, does Disney's hidden messages qualify as programs that should be banned, or should have a higher rating system be put upon them?
No, I don't believe they shouldn't, because it's only these hardcore nutters that really spend too much time looking frame by frame for something that might be there. They've got too much time on their hands. They're looking frame by frame for something, and as soon as they find something, up there it is, there it is. See something in The Rescuers Down Under. You seen that? You seen what I'm talking about there in the Rescuers Down Under movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I don't know. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
All right. So what happens is the two mice are going down like some sort of ride or something like that, and they're going down. And next thing you know, we see a freeze frame, like because these hardcore geeks spotted him, and they look in the frame, and there's actually a topless woman.
Oh, I've heard about that
One frame. You've heard about this?
Oh wait, yes, I know. And the topless woman's on the wall as they're basically going down the roller coaster.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
That's it. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
These people have too much time on their hands.
Like
You would have barely been able to see that on VHS.
Yeah, let alone at the movie.
Beta tapes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. In the movies, you're not going to say, "Oh, wait, I saw something. Take that back." No, we can't take it back because we're watching an actual movie. We paid $10 for, and we paid $40 for the freaking popcorn. Yeah.
Actually, I heard about they did exactly the workers that built the Millennium Falcon during Empire basically did put up a nude poster on the side of the Millennium Falcon. But the thing is, it's too small for you to see when you film it, but everyone kind of knows it's there. It's like there's this black bit on the side that you can see, but you can't see anything. You can only see the black bit, but all the workers just kind of know it's there as an inside joke.
God.
But you can't see it on the movie. You can't see it on the VHS. You can't even see it on the DVD.
You would have to be a 1 in a million to get that on the VHS. You would have to be a one person in a million because every time you skip a frame ahead, it usually skips like 2 or 3 frames ahead and you missed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The old VHS that used to do that. Trust me, I know. I used to have the Lion King on VHS. And do you remember the Lion? Do you remember the Lion King subliminal message?
During
the bit where the adult Simba sequence.
I do actually.
Do you know about this, Cat?
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Do you know about this one, Cat? Now, what happens, right? And the adult Simba is like depressed, and all of a sudden he just collapses on the ground. All his feathers and stars and stuff like that start going up into the sky, and some nerd managed to put this BS together. When everything went up into the air, it actually spelt out sex.
Yeah, there's actually
literally.
It's actually hilarious, kind of thing.
Yeah, and some nerd actually, who is probably still a virgin to this day, took that kind of imagination. Oh, God.
It would have just been simpler just to basically get laid, to be perfectly honest, to actually get the freeze frame that. Whatever. I mean, that takes some hardcore
nerdism right there. Hardcore nerdism. And by the way, what's the problem with Dumbo anyway?
I don't know. Is it the name itself that's offensive?
I don't know. I need to go see the movie. I haven't seen the movie in about 20 something years.
Is it the fact that,
or maybe even 30 years at least?
I don't know what's so offensive about that other than the name itself. But I can't see anything that's really offensive about that movie at all. I don't know why you'd want to pull it except for the name of the movie. I don't see how it's even racist even.
Well, I got an idea, right? Next time this change culture want to change Dumbo, right? They can bring it back on air. They could bring it back on Disney Plus, and they could censor out what they believe is racist. So if we see a gigantic elephant with pixelations all over the ears, we know that they've come for the ears.
Yeah. It's the porn magazines on the ears that they're hiding.
Oh dear. Yeah, we are still relevant to change culture too, by the way, and political correctness. That's the weird thing.
I don't know why everyone's taken all this so seriously. I mean, really. I mean, okay, I understand that some people can be offended, but I mean, in my opinion, there are worse things in the world, like hunger and unemployment and stress and all of
homelessness. We can always go up to homelessness, but no, we have to spend all our time finding flaws in TV shows. We couldn't bother to go after like the huddled and starving and the people on the street. No, we have to go after TV shows. That's the best they can do.
Because that's apparently more relevant than the 40,000 homeless on the streets of Sydney.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah. What's your next question?
Could the misrepresentation of cartoons be potentially banned due to rumor instead of fact, i.e., the Smurfs?
They probably could. They probably could end up being banned, right? If people take long enough imagination to think.
Okay, so have you heard the rumor about the Smurfs? Exactly.
The Smurfs. What kind of rumor are we talking about? I haven't heard about
so
this.
you know how so here's the rumor, and I don't know if it's 100% true, but apparently someone's linked the Smurfs to neo-Nazis, apparently. And
I've heard of this now. I have heard of this now that you mention it because my brother's ex, right? Well, had a link like that. Something about the Smurfs being that way. I've heard about this, but I've only ever heard one person ever mention it. You're the second person that's ever told me about this.
Yeah,
I remember this.
Yeah, so basically, because Papa Smurf wears a red cap, for lack of a hat, or for lack of a better word.
He's wearing a slumber hat, and apparently it's racist.
Yes, and there's the other Smurfs are wearing white hats, and the Smurfs themselves are blue, and Smurfette has blonde hair. Apparently, that's supposed to be indicative of the Nazi theory of having blue-eyed, blonde-haired people, and the KKK wear white, and their top wizard. I don't know why you'd call them a wizard, but anyway, their top wizard basically wears a red cloak thingy, and someone's gone ahead and just basically said that, oh yes, that must be a direct sync of neo-Nazis or KKK Klansmen who basically well, but you know what? Like if that's true, then I mean,
if that's true, then it's a horrible thing. But they're drawing the longest possible bow they could ever draw to make that kind of link. We need to speak to Peo, but unfortunately, there's one slight problem with that. I believe Peo is dead. We can't talk to him about that.
I'm unfortunate about that. But you know, it's quite annoying about that. Is because the thing is, all the Smurfs they went on adventures and everything like that, and they just did a genuine good kind of thing. They did good things. They did good things for their village, and so I don't see them being divisive or racist or excluding people or whatever. It was just them doing good things for all people.
You know what I like? When I watch cartoons, I don't watch them because I'm having a laugh at racism or whatever like that. I'm watching it because I love the freaking cartoons. The Smurfs I grew up with in the 80s, okay? I grew up with the Ninja Turtles in the 80s. Now, mind you, in the UK, it wasn't known as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In the UK, it was known as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yeah. So back then, they got a hold of that.
Hero Turtles. It's,
yep.
Just call them Heroes in a Hat Shells, Turtle Power, because that's way cooler. Anyway.
That was not cool. I
need to sing the song.
But anyway, I'm absolutely love the cartoons. That's the reason why I like watching Disney Plus every day, because there's so much stuff on there that you don't see on TV these days, but you can see it now. And all my favorite stuff's on there, like the Muppet Show.
Oh, what was on there?
Was on there. It's still on there, by the way.
Was
all 5 seasons of the Muppet Show too, because there was only ever 3 seasons that got released on DVD. I can watch all 5 seasons on Disney Plus. Yeah. Anyway.
Next question: are we censoring too much from our children? And is that having an effect on the entertainment and writers' freedom to write scripts?
I think it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I think what annoys me about one of the things that I didn't like about the newer Star Wars was the fact that you had people like J.J. Abrahams writing his script, but then it
Yeah.
had to be approved by Kathleen Kennedy afterwards, which really annoyed me because she turned that movie into a feminist movie, a movie about feminists, entirely about feminists, and that was quite sad because to me that movie just meant more than just feminists. It meant a different way of seeing the world. But that was my take on it, and you go into the hero's journey and whatnot. But I really think that Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars for me. And I think what she literally did was she stopped J.J. Abrahams from effectively being creative. Another thing she did, which I really hate, was she basically effectively fired George Lucas from being on the set as an advisor. I mean, like if you
Go
were
figure
writing,
that out. You fire the main guy from Star Wars
we
from doing
basically
Star
created
Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
And I again to purely to basically sell your personal ideals. And I thought that was a real shame. And this hasn't just happened in Star Wars. This has happened in a whole bunch of shows on television, particularly children's shows, where they're selling an ideal. And I think when you do that, when you're basically, so the thing is, this is very, very similar to Chinese shows. I don't know if you realize this, but in China, one of the reasons why Western movies and also Western stories were so popular in China was because Chinese stories tried to teach you something. They tried to teach
Yeah.
you something. They had an underlying ideal. And so the Chinese people just kind of got sick of that and really liked Western movies because they didn't try to do that. They just tried to entertain you. Whereas Kathleen Kennedy's basically taking on the role as, no, I'm going to teach you my ideals that I support and I like, and that how I think you should be living your life to how I see it. And people are just reacting in droves saying, this is crap. This is not the Star Wars that I remember. This goes against all my Star Wars beliefs. This is terrible. And it's so
Imagine if they did make an all-female version of Star Wars, wouldn't it be called Star Rockets?
It'd be called Star Wars. That's what it'd be called. Sorry, that was already made.
Or if there was one about frogs, that'd be called Star Wars.
There actually was a movie called that, but that's another story. It's a good thing that this is a PG rated show, hopefully.
Anyway, move right on. No, this is actually a good topic. I like this. I like the topic about political correctness because it gives me a chance to actually fire up for once.
So let's see. What's the next question?
Is the woke movement focusing on only one age bracket?
No, they're focusing on everything because, like, they're focusing on Barbie dolls for kids. They're focusing on bloody dolls for children. They're focusing on stuff that was made in like the 70s. Imagine if Change Culture had gotten to Blazing Saddles. The movie would only be 7 minutes. It'd be the opening credits and it would be the end credits. You ever think about that would Change Culture if they'd ever tried to go after Blazing Saddles? Have you ever seen Blazing Saddles, by the way, guys?
I have actually. And you know what? I liked Blazing Saddles because the thing is it had.
It is a complete parody of how things were in the 30s or something like that, something along those lines.
I liked it because you had not just because you had black actors playing in it, but I liked it because it was like a parody of all westerns. And actually, there's a bit in
that's it,
where it just gets to the point where they're chasing everyone out to the point where they chase people out of the cinema. So they were actually one of the
that's
at that time that broke the fourth wall. And
if you've never seen it, Kat, you should do yourself a favor and see it. You'll be on the floor in the corner laughing your head off.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing. And I think it was, if I remember right, it was the first ever movie to have a fart joke in it. And they were all eating baked beans, and next thing you know, they're all farting for some reason. And they couldn't figure that out. But yeah, like I said, imagine if Change Culture went up to Blazing Saddles. That movie would only be for that movie would only go for 7 minutes. But the fact that they want to try and go after everything, they don't have their polls right. They're trying to go after everything, right? Not thinking about the consequences, as I mentioned earlier on with Gone with the Wind. When Change Culture went after Gone with the Wind and made HBO Max erase the history of the first African American to win an Oscar.
Is that true? Really?
It is true.
Wow.
When Change Culture went up to HBO Max. So what they did is HBO Max got rid of Gone with the Wind. So the Change Culture people were all celebrating. And next thing you know, they decided to do a history lesson and they realized, oh shit, we just erased the history of the first African American to win an Oscar. And I say to Change Culture for doing that, bravo, you really do your research, don't you? And by the way, Hattie McDaniel actually said it was the best role she's ever done.
Wow.
And she loved playing that role. Go figure. Change Culture. Why don't you ask Hattie McDaniel how she thought about that movie? Oh, wait, you can't. She died in 1950 something.
I think that's a bit insane if you think about it. Like,
absolutely.
Just a basic, but I mean, like, it kind of also tells me that they've learnt from their mistake and then they have to backtrack it.
They haven't learned from their mistake. They're still going after everything.
Well, they're shooting themselves in the foot, so that's got to mean something.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Well, they're doing something right. They're shooting themselves in the foot, making fools of themselves, and we get a chance to laugh at them. And I get a chance to laugh at them every day. Imagine if there was a streaming service that allowed this kind of stuff, and it would tell political correctness to go jump. I'd be signed up to that thing in 10 seconds. I would sign up to that service in 10 seconds. Because it gives us an outlet to say, you can't change culture, go jump.
There are some things.
And I have a feeling a lot of people would do the same thing as well. Worldwide, there'd be more people signing up to it worldwide than anywhere else in the world. There'd be more people signing up to that service than there would be the political correctness trying to counsel it.
Like, what can you tell me what was so racist or so offensive about the Dr. Seuss books? I have no idea what was so bad about it.
What's the deal? What's the deal with the Dr. Seuss book? You tell me. It's been a very, very long time since I read a Dr. Seuss book.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Like, I think they just because.
I do remember there was a Dr. Seuss book that demonstrated Chinese people in them or Asian people picking peanuts. There was that. But in saying that, I mean, if you've actually gone into a lot of those Asian countries, even Chinese countries that are farm workers, they do actually kind of look like that when they're working on the farms. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to give you a stereotype, which I can kind of agree with, or that's just people just wanting to have something to complain about. But at the time when I was reading it, I didn't see it as particularly racist. I just saw it as Chinese people because they weren't using any Chinese slants. They weren't calling them gooks or nips or any of those unsavory words. And I actually had one of those books and I didn't at all ever see it at any period of time as racist. And I say that as a half Chinese Australian with one Chinese father. So I just thought it was just went too far, to be honest.
Last question. Are they all trying to push us into a one-size-fits-all box?
Absolutely. They are trying, but no matter how much they try, they'll never get me into that one-size-fits-all box because I like being anti. I like being a bit anti when it comes to political correctness. By a little, I mean a hell of a lot, because I won't bow to them and I will not change because there's got to be at least somebody out there who still remembers what things used to be like before change culture and political correctness started getting to things. I still want, you know what? I want to buy, I want to go to the shops right now, but unfortunately, I can't buy gollywogs anymore because they were biscuits. I enjoyed them because they were biscuits. Imagine what happened if they brought out a golly white.
Hmm. Do you actually?
Yeah, how you supposed to ban that?
Well, I actually remember when you had that, those chocolate stick things called fags. Do you remember those? I loved those.
Yeah, they were changed to fads now, and I think they're still known as fads these days.
Yeah, they're known as fads. But the thing is, those things were delicious. They didn't smoke.
And
They
they made me look cool.
They were delicious. I love
Yeah.
those things. I love
But for
those.
some reason, I used to have the wrong end. Anyway,
But
no. I change. Political correctness really needs to politically correct itself by not forcing their beliefs on everyone else. It should have the option to choose for ourselves, not them choosing it for us.
I
And
think
that's why I said if you polled the world regarding political correctness and change culture, the world will tell political correctness and change culture to get out of here.
I feel that if you find something offensive, that you shouldn't ban it. That you should just put a rating on it, kind of thing, and warn people what's in this movie. So that's a better way of doing it. I don't appreciate the idea of just banning something and throwing it away and just throwing it into the river like we're never going to play this again.
Well, that's what they have been doing lately. They've been putting warnings on the front of these shows, depicting what happens here, how it doesn't approve, or how people don't, it doesn't approve of what's happening now. It was they believe it was wrong back then. It may have been wrong back then, but it was the times back then, and they mean no disrespect. They're just a history lesson. But there are warnings on the front of some of these movies, some of these shows, that this happened, and the views from the time do not support the views of today. There are those warnings on the front of some of these movies and TV shows.
Yeah. So
I agree with that, but I don't agree with political correctness. Say we don't like this, we want it removed altogether.
Yeah, I don't agree with basically just banning children's books. I think that's just going too far. I mean, like, I don't know what you like if
Cat said we're taking away kids' imaginations. We don't have the kids don't have an imagination before. They're going to be just like their parents, stupid. Anyway,
depends on who the parents are, I think.
Well, if the parents are running the political correctness campaign, they're stupid.
That's only the stupid parents, Leon.
Yeah, that's the stupid parents.
You got to basically think of the smart parents. They're doing a good job.
The smart parents are doing a good job, man. Their kids are growing up being cool, But as long as they don't believe in that political correctness and stay cool, then more power to you. Give them a thumbs up to you guys. Hang on, there we go. There we go. Okay, all right.
I'm going to put a meme of you, I think. What's the next question?
That's basically it. Thank you so much for joining us.
We covered all sorts of stuff regarding political correctness, Kat. This is one of my favorite subjects because it gives me a chance to fire up and finally be in my element where I can fire up.
There is one thing I'd actually like to say. I don't hate I don't hate all forms of feminism. I think women do have the right to basically wear what they like and vote and work and do all of that. But I can't stand Marxist feminism, which basically just blames the man for literally every single problem in the world, and women are basically
that's reverse sexism, isn't it?
Well, that's actually considered feminist Marxism.
So I'm going to call it sexism, because if it's females blaming males for everything, that's sexist, because we can't say that about females because we're called sexist.
Well, I think it works both ways. So females and males can both be sexist, but when I say Kathleen about the Kathleen Kennedy remarks, I suppose it was really her brand of Marxist feminism that was destroying Star Wars. Just to be clear, so we don't get 50,000 comments basically saying, "Oh, Buckets is a sexist" kind of thing. So, but what I do approve of is basically I do approve that women should have the right to vote, wear whatever she wants,
Absolutely.
work, get a decent salary, have a decent love life, have all the fruits that a normal human being should have. I totally 100% respect that.
Absolutely.
Just don't screw
Absolutely.
up my movies. That's all.
Yeah. And don't screw up my TV shows either.
Well, that's about it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on this very thought-provoking podcast. We look forward to you joining us again soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.